channel. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, especially for MomLife content. But don't worry, other content will be coming through on the channel. Today is a hard one to talk about. It's a hard one to talk about. There was a day where all the signs were saying don't leave the house, but we left the house. So a weekend was planned in Harties, and I was very excited to be going because there is a network at this place and you can really switch off and just enjoy yourself. And I was looking forward to have quality time with my son and with family. So prior to leaving, it was a Friday. There was a freak storm that came out of nowhere. And it really just came out of nowhere. There was no hint. The weather report said nothing about it. Freak storm out of nowhere. And I was like, howdy blessings, And then my mom was just a little bit concerned, like, hey, I'm a little bit worried. Why don't you guys leave tomorrow? I said, no, they are expecting us and I have to show up. And so before leaving, stop at the Woolies, get some goodies for the road. I mean, Harties is not that far, but the place is self-catering, so you want to make sure you're sorted. Koki is super excited. Him and I are in the car together. And then at some point, stop at the garage because the car is complaining that the remote or the key's battery's dead. But the key's battery had been replaced a few days before. And that was almost like another sign that was like, maybe you shouldn't hit the road. But I was like, nope, nothing can stop us from hitting the road. Okay, cool. Stop at the garage, buy a battery, switch up the battery, hit the road. Me and Koki are in the car together now. And we're going to be meeting family there. And as we hit the road, when you are driving, I think the area is called Zandspruit, and then you go past Cosmo City. It got very dark there. So I stopped at a stop sign, which if you're not paying attention, you wouldn't even see there's a stop sign there. The sign was knocked over. And as I stopped, I suddenly felt at the back of the car, like shocked, confused. I drove forward and then drove the car as my child is in the back screaming, mommy, what's happened? What's happening? And I'm trying to stay calm. I'm looking in the rearview mirror. I am confused. I am shaking, and I'm just mindful of the fact that my son is watching me. So I'm trying to play cool. I'm like, everything is fine. It was just a little bit of an accident. Don't worry. Looking at the back, looking in the rearview mirror, trying to see what's happening, trying to see if anybody was hurt. At that point, the car's keys had flown somewhere in the car. My phone had flown somewhere in the car. So there were a good 3 minutes of screaming child, panicked mom, trying to just gather myself. Also, you're afraid because it's dark and no one is stopping, which you're grateful for, but also you're like, why is no one stopping? Because people stop and they rob you and you're vulnerable, alone with your child. Eventually, I get hold of my phone. I call my insurance. Thank goodness they are able to track us down. The other driver is fine. We are fine. I didn't realize how badly the vehicle was damaged, but I'm trying to stay cool. And I'm thinking about the fact that I'm so shaken up. How is my child processing this entire thing? Long story short, the tow truck guys came, helped us out. We ended up driving back home. It was not meant to be. By the time we got back home, baby was asleep in the car. Even my cousin came through to rescue with the car seat and hang out with us for a bit. So fast forward, I'm trying to see how is my son processing this? And he's saying, we had an accident. So just to be proactive, I obviously was speaking to him, and mind you, the impact was at the back. We got rear-ended at the back, and it's not the other driver's fault because the car aquaplaned, which basically means it does like what it does on ice. It just started sliding. You tap on the brakes, but the car just slides and rammed into us. And I guess there was a reason we were not meant to be going to Harties that weekend. When I spoke to my son to try and process, I wasn't really getting joy in feeling like he's gotten, feeling like I've gotten the sense of comfort that he's okay. So I called his play therapist, and she was absolutely amazing. She saw him for 2 sessions, and she explained to me, on a drawing, this is a car accident and a sad face, and then the car's now back and fixed. And my son smartly said, Mommy's car's not back. She's driving Uncle's car. Mommy's car's not back. It's not fixed. And she's like, your son is too advanced for his own age. He's fine. He's processed it fine. So I'm like, great. He understands it was an accident. After the insurance thing, I was using my cousin's car for a while. All great, wonderful. Fast forward to my car coming back from repairs, which is about 2.5 months later. And my son is like, your car's fixed, Mommy, it's fixed. I'm like, yes. So we're driving in the car, normal pace. We're in suburb area, 55 kilometers per hour. And my son loses it. He starts screaming in the car. And he's screaming, saying, you're driving fast, Mommy. Don't drive fast, I'm gonna be hurt. And he said, my tummy's gonna be sore and my back's gonna be sore. Mommy, you're driving fast. And I was driving as slow as possible to just try and reassure this little person. So I immediately voice noted the therapist, and I'm like, okay, the car being back seems to have triggered stuff. Please help me, please guide me. He went back for 2 sessions, and she said, no, he's doing much better. And she said, it is normal after post a traumatic event for it to come up. It doesn't mean he hasn't processed it, but these things take time. So a few of those incidents have happened, and they are a lot better. I think now I'm just more aware of my own traumas because I still haven't processed that car accident properly, if I'm honest with you. I am so grateful we have our lives, material things can be bought again. That's what insurance is there for. But this little person having to process a car accident, and the other day he said to me, Mommy, are we gonna have an accident again? I said, no, we're not gonna have an accident again. And that's why, we pray before we hit the road. We check that we are fine, but he's processing. And I think what I would advise to all of us as parents, let kids talk about what they need to talk about. I was not ready to talk about it when he was talking about it because I didn't know what to say. I reached out for help, and now I allow my son to process. If we need to draw something together, he will do it. And then I'll ask him, do you feel sad about the car accident? And he'll say, yes, or he'll say, Mommy, I'm scared, which he said before in the car. And I'm just glad he's at a point where he can articulate himself. But being in a car accident with your child is very scary. It is so overwhelming that I had to suppress what I wanted to do. I mean, at some point I was crying on the side of the road, but I was suppressing because I wanted my son to feel safe. And finding that balance of having your child feel safe and secure, but also knowing he has permission to cry and feel sad by seeing his own mom doing it is a very difficult thing, but it was done. So that's a work in progress, and that's the story of how my son and I were in a car accident together. We still work on it, we still talk about it, we have our lives. Thank goodness nobody was severely injured. We did go to the doctor the following day to check that physically we were fine, and we are all good. And I guess over time the psychological scars and everything else will go as they should. Thank you so much though for watching this video, and share your stories. Have you been in a car accident with your own child? How did you cope with it? What helped you? Let's share with one another. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell.